Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new video here today and some more F1 My Team career mode. Today we are here for round number 4 of the season for the Chinese Grand Prix. And if you guys missed the previous episode at Vietnam, then I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner. And also guys, I want to do a quick plug in today's video. I'm trying to mix up my content. So yesterday I done a video based around some V12 engine F1 cars, and I think it was a pretty good video. So if you guys want to check it out, I'd massively appreciate it guys, because I want to try and do more content like this, so I'd like if you guys could give it a chance. So I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner. With that said, at the moment of course in my team, the chase to catch Mercedes is well and truly on, and in the last episode Mercedes brought some massive upgrades and they are further ahead than ever before. So we've got a big challenge this weekend and also for the rest of the season to try and close that gap. Luckily we have some big upgrades on the way, so let's jump to the laptop and let's see what's new this weekend. So here we are then on the laptop. First and foremost, looking at the weather forecast, no rain expected except for the race right at the very end. There could be some rain. Also R&D wise, we've got some big upgrades on the car this weekend. We've got an ultimate chassis upgrade, our first ultimate upgrade of the entire series so far, and also a major aerodynamics one, which means we've actually cut the gap to Mercedes by more than half, and we're a lot closer to them than we were in the last episode. We've also got another major aerodynamic upgrade on the way, which will again help close the gap to the silver arrows. But with that said, we move into practice, and of course in this session we're going to try and score even more R&D points and hopefully put on even more upgrades onto the car and keep that chase, going, and trying to see if we can close down Mercedes in the future races heading into the European season. Either way, I'm going to jump to practice. Here we go. And to be fair, China's a mixed track for me. I'm not the biggest fan of the circuit, but I feel like my pace isn't too bad. Having said that, the AI seem pretty strong around here, so it's going to be maybe a bit of a mixed one for us, but hopefully we can maximize the weekend nonetheless, because I feel like once we get to Zandvoort, the next race, things will start to go in our favor, because the first few races I tend to struggle for pace, and it's only when the European season starts that I seem to get a bit more pace, which is good. So after practice we went quickest of anybody, which means we hit our goal bonuses of course, and we also scored nearly 1,100 points after practice, so a really good session for us. And 1,700 is now our total amount of R&D points, and we're going to see if we can carry some momentum and some pace into qualifying. Ricardo with the new upgrades looks very quick around here, so I'm kind of optimistic he can do a good job, but we'll see how the weekend goes for us, because it's going to be interesting, and fingers crossed we can try and get Q3. That's the aim. I think we've been there or thereabouts in the last couple of races, and it's going to be the similar story again. As we move into Q1 though, you can see here we start our lap and we get held up massively by one of the racing points. I'm not sure who it is, but you can see here forced off lap. I think it's Kevin Magnussen in the racing point, and he just completely held us up here all the way through turns 1 and 2. Eventually he got out of the way, but I lost a couple of tenths there for sure, and we took a really poor line through turn 2, and I felt like, I'm going to actually get my own back and get some revenge on him. So we eventually finish our lap. It was an okay one, not spectacular by any means. Sector 2 was brilliant, to be fair, but 1 and 3 weren't that good. But I'm going to return the favour, because Magnussen is approaching right now behind us, and I'm going to give him a taste of his own medicine. So we actually keep our car on the racing line going at a bit of an abnormal speed, just forcing him to be patient, have to wait behind us, and eventually I let him go. But there you go, justice well and truly served on that one. Eventually we move on to the final run, because we're currently P12, but we're only safe by a tenth of a second, so we have to improve here, and this lap is crucial. So straight away we find 2 tenths in the first sector, where we was held up of course behind Magnussen. We find another 1.5 in the middle sector, and then eventually now into sector 3, which is where I felt there was a bit more time to find. We was upwards of half a second, nearly 6 tenths up, and eventually we are going to finish the lap. You can see here running across the line we improved by just over half a second, and that should be enough to see us into Q3. Yes it is, and we go through in only P14 though, so again a little bit concerning. We seem to be lacking a bit of pace. It's very competitive. Ricardo fastest of everybody in Q1, which was a revelation in itself, and you can see the gaps there very, very close between everybody, and the whole field covered by pretty much a full second. So it's going to be very, very close, and any mistake will get punished. So moving into Q2, this was my first time lapping the session, and to be fair, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't my best lap. I believe my best lap of the weekend is a 27.2, which we did in Q1. and this lap is going to be just a bit slower than that, and we'll see now as we cross the line it's a 27.3, so a tenth off our Q1 time. We go P10 at the time. Eventually others would improve, and we got pushed down to P15 and into penultimate place, so we have to improve. The question is, will this lap be good enough? Let's go for a full lap of Shanghai and let's see what it's like. And there we go at the final corner, opening the DRS. We improved by 0.4 of a second, and we move up into the top 10 and into 8th place. Only a tenth, or less than a tenth actually, off Ricardo, but eventually, unfortunately, we got eliminated as others did improve around us, and we got pushed out to P11. So we missed out on the top 10, but that's not exactly terrible because P11, of course, does give you that free tyre choice, which could be key, especially with the rain in the race. So I'm not too disappointed with that one. The pace was good, you know, a 126, that was pretty much a miracle lap time. I was nowhere near a 126 all weekend, so I'm really happy with that. To be fair, the qualifying lap in itself was right up there with one of my best laps I've ever done. So yeah, in the end, I'm not too disappointed. We look at the rivalry breakdown, and Verstappen does pick up a couple of extra points on us, but generally speaking, things are looking not too bad heading into the race, and I think we're going to have a much better race car as always. You guys know by now qualifying is a bit of a weak point, not because of me, but mainly because the AI are very overpowered over one lap. But nonetheless, that is it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race for the Chinese Grand Prix.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1, and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. No grip penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, and Ocon, Sainz, Magnussen, Martinez, and Sergio Perez. Norris, Vettel, Max Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty, and Aitken, Kvyat, Albon, Nick de Vries, and Lance Stroll, Giovinazzi, Russell, Grosjean, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Well then guys, here we go. It's time for the Chinese Grand Prix and we start from P9. We've actually benefited from some grid penalties and we're going to be the first of the free tyre choice runners and we're already inside the top 10 as we're going to get that benefit of the free tyre and we're going to use the mediums to start off here today. And of course you guys know by now China, the one stop is so much more effective than the two stop. So we're going to start on the mediums, move on to the hards. There is a chance of rain at the end of the race, right at the very end. So we'll keep an eye on the skies. I was tempted to go onto the hard tyres first in case the rain does arrive earlier, but I think we're going to stick with the mediums and see how it goes and trust the weather forecast and hope that it does, you know, come to fruition. Fuel wise, I've actually got the car with plus 0.5, so slightly over this time. I felt like I need the fuel, especially in the back straight, to try and compete. So yeah, overall I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be plenty of opportunities hopefully to try and make something happen, both on strategy and also when the weather arrives and some potential rain does get involved. So I'm looking forward to it. But guys, let's jump into the race and let's see how we get on here for round 4 for the Chinese Grand Prix. Okay, here we go then. The lights are coming on here at Shanghai. Trying to see if I can get the revs up to the sweet spot, which we do. Lights out and away we go. It's not a good start from us. Perez gets off to a flyer, as does Verstappen behind us in the Red Bull. I'm going to try and re-challenge though into turn 2. Just looking for a bit of space here, but Perez on mediums getting the jump on us. That is not good in terms of strategy. Around the outside, can we get back ahead of Verstappen here? That'd be nice. It's going to be close. Looks like a drag race, but look at that. We're actually lacking some straight line speed here. Ricciardo's currently in the lead, so he's done a brilliant job so far in this race as Verstappen tries to go around the outside. Here we're going to just edge ahead, hopefully, into the fast left. Can we hold on? It's going to be close, but Verstappen does get in front, so unfortunately we have to give way. Max on those soft tyres, of course, going to have a lot more grip at this stage in the race. But the bad news is Perez, really. He's managed to get the jump on us, and generally it's been a bit of a poor start. We don't usually go backwards, but that has been the case here in this race so far. Meanwhile, Max putting a move on Perez here. We're going to use that opening to try and slip through as well. Can we get them both? Yes, we can. And we're back ahead. There we go. Nice little opportunistic move. And suddenly we're back up to P9 and back to where we started. So very nice overtake there. Very opportunistic, you could say. And we're back into P9. So in the end, we've actually recovered okay. Ricciardo leads the Chinese Grand Prix, which is brilliant. And that's exactly what we want to see. And hopefully the upgrades will allow Ricciardo to compete a bit more in this race. But we're in the mix. We're in the points already, which is good news. Now we've got to see if we can try and push forward here and close after some cars in front and make some more progress. We've got a nice gap to Verstappen behind, over a second already, as they're battling behind us. So this is a good chance for us to pull away and see if we can establish a gap. And more importantly, get within a second of the cars ahead when the DRS gets enabled next lap. Okay, DRS now enabled, so this is when we've got to start making some moves. It looks like Verstappen does have some good pace. He's now back within a second quite comfortably. Those soft tyres working well still for him. But hopefully now is when the crossover will start, so fingers crossed his mediums now start to make a difference. Meanwhile, Ricciardo out front looking pretty good actually. Still out there as we get very close to Ocon through turn 5 there in the hairpin. Let's see if we can put some pressure on him maybe and get by very soon. Can we get the run on Ocon here? It's all about this exit through the banking. Using the rear traction, which we have quite a lot of to be fair. I think we're within range to make this move happen. Let's see what our straight line speed is like. Looks like we're pretty even. Not really making much of a dent into Ocon, so we're going to have to just sit back for now and be patient. It's definitely this little 4-car train we need to get by here. Being led by Pierre Gasly in the first of the Renaults. Then it's, I'm guessing, Lando Norris. Actually, that should be Carlos Sainz to be fair. And then it's Magnussen and Ocon. So let's see if we can look for a move. Want to keep the pressure on a little bit. The problem I have around this track is that AI are too good in a particular couple of corners. So up until this point, I can keep up. But then starting from now, these next 3 corners, the AI are just so good. Especially these ones right here. These two, they just get the traction down so early. And I can't match what they do. And in the end, actually, Verstappen behind us is now closer than what I am to Ocon. But that aside, let's see if we can still make some progress. It looks like Gasly may get overtaken by Carlos Sainz a bit further up the road. This time, I feel like I'm a lot closer to Ocon here. I've kept the car a bit tighter on the exit of the banking. Let's see if we can challenge again. Looks like we're not making much of a dent once more on the straight, which is a bit of a shame. So I'm going to just refuse and save the overtake. Well, to be fair, that's a late one down the inside. Bit of an unexpected one there. Ocon was very early on the brake, so we converted that into an overtake. So we'll take it, and there you go. You've got Sainz and Magnussen pitting, Ocon in as well. Gasly stays out, so let's push here. Let's try and see if we can have a strong lap and catch up to Pierre up ahead. Trying to push here to see if I can close up to Gasly and get a nice DRS slingshot on the back straight overtake, but I think we're a bit too far back for an overtake on him maybe. I know he's going to pit this lap anyway, so I don't have to be too aggressive, but again, it will help the lap time be even quicker if I can stay close. It looks like that Breno, though, generally has very good straight line speed, so I've got to respect that.
Expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
Okay, there's the first message about the weather as Ricciardo pits from the lead, I believe.
Daniel's in for his stop.
And now Pierre will release us onto the pit straight with DRS. There we go, and we should take the race lead. Actually, no, the Mercedes looks like they're still staying out for a couple more laps on those soft tyres, so going for a potential overcut maybe, which is interesting because this is probably the worst track for an overcut, but both sort of arrows staying out, so let's use this lap to close up a little bit to Bottas and Hamilton up ahead if we can. Okay, race leader Lewis Hamilton in the pit lane. Bottas stays out for one more, so let's push here. Another personal best from us. Keeping that pace up, staying nice and consistent. Hamilton onto the hard tyres. The clouds are starting to form already here, so we could be going into the rain pretty quickly actually, so it may suit us to try and go as long as possible on this stint and not pit. That would put us right into the race. Oh, okay. Magnussen out, first retirement. No safety car or VSC though, which is a good thing because I may have ruined our strategy, so I'll take that. And there we go, Valtteri pits as we drive past the stricken racing point of Kevin Magnussen, and now we are going to take the lead in the Chinese Grand Prix for a few laps. Now it's about looking up to the skies and trying to make our tyres last the distance as well, because we may have to stay on these and hang on until the rain arrives, so important to drive smooth and keep the errors out as much as possible. It looks like the clouds have just started to open up a little bit, and that threat of rain seems to have disappeared for now. It's got a lot brighter, but my pace has still been very strong. Gap to Perez now nearly 6 seconds. We're pulling away about half a second a lap on the Racing Point driver, and to be fair, my lap times were actually not that far off my personal best. We're doing a good job of staying relatively consistent, considering my personal best was with DRS assistance.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
And I've also burnt off my extra fuel now because I want to be light in case the rain does arrive, but we might change our tyre compound and go for softs or another set of mediums if I know the rain's going to arrive with certainty. So I'm going to wait until the last minute here and make a call in terms of the tyres depending on when the rain arrives and depending on what Jeff says over the radio.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
So the message is exactly the same as what it was 5-6 minutes ago. So no real clarity there. Looks like we're going to have to just hang on a little bit longer and wait until lap 13 or so when we'll have to ask for actual weather conditions.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
That's very tricky to predict. 5 minutes. And tyre wear's okay. I can do a few more laps. I can definitely do a few more laps. We're pushing 40%, which is not that bad. So I'll definitely do 1 or 2 more laps and see how things progress, I think. Perez pits, and I'm guessing the rest of the medium tyre runners will probably pit as well, and that's going to release the faster guys. Ricciardo still holding what would be the net race lead if it was a normal race, and also the fastest lap as well. But interestingly, he's on a 2-stop, it looks like. He's on mediums, whereas Hamilton is on the hard. So just like the last race, it seems like Ricciardo's side of the garage have seemed to have got the strategy a bit wrong going for the 2-stop. But then again, it's impossible to make a 1-stop work around here, I find, on soft tyres when you start on those. There we go, Ricciardo, Hamilton, Bottas move up as the rest of the medium tyre runners now box. So I'm the only one out there now on a bit of a different strategy here. Hoping for this rain to arrive. My tyres still feel okay, my pace is still very consistent, so I'm happy to stay out. It may ruin my race later on, but I'm banking on rain at this point. Okay, it's starting to get overcast again. Let's see how this one turns out. Hopefully this is actual rain. Okay, it's getting very dark now. This could be serious. Let's ask on the radio real quick.
We're expecting the rain to hit us anytime now. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Okay, DRS just went offline, I believe. Luckily it stayed closed. Yeah, there we go, confirmation. DRS offline, but that's okay. If it stayed open, that'd be a big issue, especially heading into the rain. But luckily that's not the case. pace is very consistent. Ricciardo still 15 seconds behind. Just got to wait now for this rain. Oh, I think Ricciardo's pit. Wow. Timing on that is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Even if the race stayed dry, if I were to pit right now, I'd rejoin ahead of Verstappen and be in a net P3. So that's how good this first stint has been. Every single lap has been so consistent. Actually, I'm going to take a quick peek at the race director because I feel like my pace has been very, very consistent. So let's have a quick look here. I want to see exactly what my lap times are because I feel like I've had a really good stint to say, around China, tyre wear is important. So you can see at the bottom of the screen 31.7, 31.7, 31.7, 31.8, 31.55, 6.64, 6. So really consistent lap times, all within 2-3 tenths. So that's exactly what I've been doing and managing the tyres beautifully. And that's why the pace is so good. So we're going to keep it going. Still waiting for that rain though. I'd like to get to arrive soon because my tyre wear is starting to kick in now. Front left 63. And as I say that, here come the first drops. Okay. Initial feeling, track feels absolutely fine at the minute. No real difference to grip at all. So sometimes the rain comes down really quick and within less than a lap it's already intermediates, but in this case it's not a particularly fast transition it seems like, so we might be on these tyres for a little bit longer. Kind of hoping though it starts to come down on this lap. Oh.
Safety car, safety car. No overtaking, reduce your pace. Keep your delta number positive as we form up.
What do we do now? That is so interesting. Do we just pit for the inters now? Surely we must. Hang on, let me ask.
This rain is going to keep getting heavier for the next 15 minutes at least. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Oh, what do I do? Do we go for it? We are going to put a lot of wear on our inters if we box now though and do it in the safety car period, but then it's done. I think we're going to box.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Went way too slow there. Lost so much time. I gave away 5 seconds on the delta. But nonetheless, here we go. Into the pit lane. We're going to go for those inters. Oh man. Whew. Even then, I had a 12-second cushion over Hamilton. And, I was happy to let that, run down until we got into the inters. But this is going to help us out a lot. Here we go then.
Go, go, go.
Looks like we will rejoin in P3 anyway. So...
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
What we've got to do now is not take too much out of the tyres because the track is nowhere near ready for inters as we pass the stricken Williams, I believe, and AlphaTauri of Kofi out there. There is literally no grip on these tyres at the minute, but we're just going to cruise. I'm not going to push myself too much. We need to keep these tyres alive. Already got 1% on the left-sided tyres. Okay, so we've got ourselves into the safety car train. Now I'm just going to try and drive as slow as possible, put as least energy as possible through the tyres, and also I'm running rich mix because I don't want to save fuel. I want to try and stay light again to help us take the least amount of stress out of these inters as possible. The rain at the minute is not that heavy, it's very, very light. And it says the rain's going to keep getting heavy over the next 15 minutes, but it needs to pick up because the safety car, I believe, will be in next lap. So over the next lap, it needs to improve in terms of, for me, the conditions a lot more. So we need the rain to come down some more because at the minute we're nowhere near at the crossover yet. Okay, that's interesting. My gut feeling tells me it's not going to get wet enough. I don't know why. I've got a bad feeling in my gut. Having said that, though, I think for now we may have an advantage. The fact that I haven't boxed for inters and DRS has not been disabled, though, is a concern to me. It is a big concern. Because if this backfires, we're going to finish out the points because obviously we've got the whole grid behind us. So I need this rain to get worse. Looks like we are going to have one more lap of safety car though. Oh, here we go. Hamilton pits. Oh, there we go. The AI actually dive in for the inters. Bottas left to stay out. Okay, so we are going to get away with it. Crucial. Really important. I'm kind of hoping Ricciardo, because he's got the last pit box, he benefits and doesn't get caught up in all the shenanigans that happen in the pit lane. But the safety car will be in this lap, so Bottas is going to drop out the order here. So we've got a massive chance to gain some points back in the championship. So the rain's going to stop in 10 minutes. Wow, this is going to be really interesting. If it were me, I'd stay on the dries and take a risk because it might dry up later. And DRS hasn't been disabled yet. Okay, here we go. It's time for the restart. Bottas has been going pretty slow the entire back straight. I'm expecting Valtteri to pit, so this is going to be interesting. Look how slow he's going. We're going to lose so much temperature in the tyres, but in theory, so should he. And there we go. He's bolting. Let's just be careful here because I'm expecting him to pit. And he does, and so should everyone else. So that's going to give us a nice lead already on these tyres. And look at that. Perfection. Hamilton back up to P2. And looks like Russell is P3 in the Williams. How has Russell done that? George Russell in third place. I mean, he's going to struggle to hold it.
They seem to have an issue.
Oh, man, and I've just jinxed it. I feel so bad. Okay, we've got 3.5 seconds over Lewis. Net gap, so we can win this race now. We need to push and find our pace, though, on these tyres. I'm expecting the AI to be a lot quicker than me until I get used to these conditions. Oh, sliding through there, just carrying a bit too much speed. That's also going to do no favours in terms of tyre temperatures. Got to be careful that Hamilton is quicker than me. He is catching. He probably will catch me before the end, so we may have to deploy defend. Ricciardo still has the fastest lap, so that's going to be an extra point for us, which is a small consolation. Oh, okay, Ricciardo duking it out with Perez. Let's see if Ricky can pick up that P4. That'd be a good extra couple of points for us as a team. Benefiting from Bottas, of course, who's going to be way down the order. This is a good chance for us to get a few points on Mercedes. 3 laps to go. The track has never fully got to those interconditions. I'm not happy with it. These conditions suit the AI more than me because it's all about traction, which I don't have at the minute. I'm better off when the conditions are really, really heavy. So it's intermediates, but you can see the rain's a lot heavier. That's when I'm a lot stronger. So for now, I'm just trying to make no mistakes and stay consistent. But Hamilton is chipping away every lap. I've got a feeling we might go back to dry before the end of the race. Hamilton 1.1 behind. Luckily, there's no DRS, but we've got 1 lap to go. I'm going to pull away a little bit in sector 3. I seem to be okay through this final sector. But Hamilton gains about 8 tenths on me through the middle sector. So it's going to be a drag race, I feel, on the last lap on the back straight, unless we absolutely nail the first sector. Here we go then. Hamilton 1.4 behind as we enter the AI's strongest part of the track. They're just coded to be so good through here, especially these 2 left-handers on traction. It's just unbelievable. They're just unbeatable, and you can see Hamilton just closing that gap all the time. 8 tenths behind. Easy does it. No mistakes now. We've got the straight line speed and the engine power to stay ahead, hopefully, and I've got enough to use if I need to. Just keep it nice and tidy through the banking. There we go. Hamilton 7 tenths behind, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Let's pull over. You can see we're actually pulling away now on the straight. Running a very low downforce setup. And that's going to help us as we pull away, and we should be okay now. No mistakes. Easy does it. Braking a little bit earlier for the hairpin just to be sure. Exit. A bit scruffy, but that's okay. And there we go then. Through the final corner. And we deserve this from P9 on the grid, P11 in qualifying. We play the strategy beautifully, and we win in China. Yes!
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
There'll be many smiles at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take the win here in Shanghai. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
Well, guys, what a race here today in Shanghai. I didn't expect much, and we've managed to pull something out of nowhere. We pick up a huge win here today, beating Hamilton to the win. Verstappen picks up 3rd place on the podium. Ricciardo 4th with the fastest lap, which is not too bad. And to be fair, unlucky for Ricciardo because he was leading the whole race, and the strategy was the downfall in his case on a 3-stop strategy there. We then look at Perez, Norris, Aitken scoring points in the Alpha ahead of Stroll, Leclerc and Gasly. Grosjean misses out on the points, along with Valtteri Bottas, which is massive for the Constructors' Championship. Albon, Latifi, De Vries, Sainz, Ocon, Vettel, Russell, Giovinazzi, Kvyat and Magnussen out of the points, with Kvyat and Magnussen not finishing the race. We then look at the driver standings. We move up to second place, overtaking Bottas thanks to that race win, and we're only 10 points behind Lewis Hamilton. Meanwhile, Ricciardo is still P4. Verstappen does gain a couple of points on him here today, but still at the top 4, looking pretty solid. And we then look at the Constructors, and we are in second place. We cut the gap to Mercedes down to 30 points, and now you could say it's game on, as we brought some big upgrades today. You saw the gap shrink a lot on the R&D graph, and we're going to try and add some more right now. So we're going to jump to the laptop and see if we can upgrade our car heading to the next race at Zandvoort, in also Spain and Monaco and beyond. So let's see if we can try and do anything. We've got a major aerodynamic upgrade on the way. Let's try and add some more and hopefully close the gap to the silver arrows, or if you want to call them the black arrows, then fair enough. Either way, let's get onto the laptop.
You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win?
I wouldn't say it was comfortable, no. I think we was in the back foot all weekend, and we had to work hard. I think strategy was going to be a key thing today. We knew about the rain, and we took a chance and it paid off. So really the credit goes to the team. Obviously the car has been consistent this weekend, and whenever you push, it does well, but ultimately the team done a good job this weekend.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
Yeah, I think, like I said, strategy did a good job for us. I think being on those medium tyres really helped, and I think just in general the car has been so consistent this year and so reliable, and that's credit again to the engineers.
Well, looks like your luck has changed. Things went a lot better than last weekend, didn't they?
For sure. I don't think the last race was that bad. We've had a good strong start to the season, but for sure the first win tastes very sweet, and it's all the improvements we've been making to the aero and also mainly the chassis as well. I think that's been the real key element in this one.
You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you?
Well, maybe you should expect a bit more. I think we've said from the beginning, we're going for the title this year. We weren't kidding, and it's magic when the whole team works together, really.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So after that race, we look at the rivalry breakdown, and to be fair, both myself and Verstappen, we score 4 points apiece, and we still have a 3-point lead heading into Max Verstappen's home race at Zandvoort next up. We also score a little bit of an improvement on the Acclaim, both myself and Ricciardo, so it does mean as a team we are going to level up a little bit, but now the Acclaim isn't really that important anymore. Now we've got all of our sponsors signed up, which is great, and also you can see maximum payout, which is brilliant. So nearly $2 million, which is unreal, and no damage deduction. So a really good weekend here at Shanghai this weekend, and the total now approaching $20 million, which is insane. Here we are then back in the office, and we're going to get some more activities underway. So we've got 10 days until the next race in Zandvoort, so we are going to assign a few activities. We've got a press interview in between. So looking at the options here, I feel like we need to improve in different areas. So first of all, a funded team event to improve morale, to keep things positive and reduce the chance of failures. And then we are going to go for simulator training for Daniel Ricciardo, and then we've got 2 more days left over, and I'm thinking maybe driver promotion filming, if not durability team building. I think we're going to go... I'm going to go durability team building. I think that's going to work best for us. Having said that, we move over to the upgrades. We've got, of course, the major aerodynamic upgrade on the way. We're going to add some more. So we have 2,200 R&D points. And again, looking at the options, I feel like we could definitely do some more work on the chassis. So having a look, we've got a brake upgrade. I'm a little bit not keen to do the brake upgrades, because last year's game the brake upgrades actually end up messing up your car a little bit and the way the car brakes, so I'd rather avoid those if possible. We do have a weight reduction upgrade though, and that's 1,900 points, so we are going to go for yet another ultimate upgrade. Could I rush it? Do I take that risk? You know what, I think I might just try it. 36% chance of failure. That's not too bad, so I'm going to try and rush that and see if we get lucky for a change. Having said that, we're now going to move on to a press interview with Mr. Will Buxton.
You've managed to negotiate contracts with new sponsors. How important is this fresh injection of cash to the team?
I think it helps. We're trying to push forward, improve the facilities, and you know how F1 works. The development never stops, so you've got to keep working. And yeah, for sure, it will help in terms of investing for the engine department, that's for sure.
You're now one of the most competitive teams on the grid. What was the most important thing that helped you achieve this?
I think it was a lot of things, to be honest. I think having a stronger pairing as drivers, you know, myself and Daniel, gave us a better chance. And also just working on the chassis. I feel like that's been a key area for us this season where we've really improved and taken a big step forward.
Your second driver looks to have been really busy recently. It's always good to see that level of dedication, isn't it?
It is. It's exactly, you know, what we expect of our drivers, and I'm happy to see it. You know, that's what we want in this team.
Will your team be going for the Constructors' Championship this season, or just for points?
Well, it's been made public, and I think we made it pretty clear we're going for the titles this year.
Do you see your relationship with your second driver being long-term, or will you be looking for someone else if you're successful?
I think it's pretty simple and straightforward, and you know, if they deliver results, then they can stay here as long as they like.
Well, thanks so much as ever for your time. It's hugely appreciated.
Well, here we are then, back on the laptop, and we are going to skip ahead to the Dutch Grand Prix. But first of all, let's see if our rushed Ultimate Chassis upgrade manages to arrive. Unfortunately, it hasn't arrived, and I also don't have enough points to purchase it for now, so we're going to have to just sit back and take a back seat to that. But we might be able to upgrade elsewhere. We've got a couple of minor ones on the aerodynamics, but again, they're a bit too expensive actually, so looks like we're not going anywhere at the minute, and we can't make any upgrades for now, so bit of a shame. But the good news is the aerodynamic upgrade that we had has arrived, so that is going to mean we are going to have an improved package at Zandvoort, and hopefully for the next race in Spain we'll have an even better car after that. But that said, guys, let's skip ahead to Zandvoort, and there we go then. We are ready for the next race in Zandvoort, guys. Nearly $19 million, and we are ready for Max Verstappen's home race. But if you guys enjoyed this episode and the first win of Season 3, guys, and I appreciate if you could hit the like button and also subscribe if you are new, guys, for daily F1 content on the channel. Also, check out the 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them right now. And with that said, guys, I will see you all next time for round 5 for the Dutch Grand Prix. But until then, take care and goodbye from me.